So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Should you buy the iPhone 11 Pro in 2023? Now, I did a wife edition episode last month. If you want to check that out, where we talk about both of our opinions together, you can go ahead and check that out. I'll leave it linked down below in the description area of this video. But let's talk about it here now that we've entered 2023. We're only about 8 months away from the upcoming iPhone 15 models. So we'll go to eBay here, see what the market is charging for the iPhone 11 Pro right now. And as you can see, this is taking a little while to boot up. I just reinstalled this, so it is a first boot. So don't think the iPhone 11 Pro is slow because of that. And we'll go here and take a look at current prices. You could see right around that $300 range to $400 range. So I wouldn't say cheap, but around the price of an iPhone SE. So you can get this, or you can get a phone that feels like an iPhone 6. You take your pick. Kind of refreshing on the specs. 5.8-inch display here. This is OLED, and this does have a triple 12 megapixel camera on the rear, 4 gigabytes of RAM, an Apple A13 Bionic chipset, and a 3046 milliamp hour battery. Now, would I say it's worth it here in 2023 in terms of the build and the body? And the answer is yes. And the reasons why is because if you take a look at the current iPhone 14 Pro, it still uses the same material on the back. It still uses stainless steel. The only difference is the way it's shaped. Now, if you're into, people looking at your phone and saying, oh, he's got the latest phone, you're not going to like this one because everybody knows once they see them curved edges, this is the older iPhone. So if you're trying to flex, this is probably not for you at this point, but if you just want a phone that still feels like a high-end iPhone, this is for sure going to be for you. I also think this is one of the most comfortable sizes Apple's ever made. It just feels really good in the hand in terms of just kind of how it wraps in the corners. Just the overall, weight of it. It's not too heavy. I mean, it is heavier than, some of the other iPhones out there, but 188 grams, this is very manageable and premium at the same time. So very nice weight to use, very nice phone to use, very good look. I will say that notch is starting to age quite a bit. Having that longer one just feels very old compared to the newer phones out these days, Dynamic Island, the smaller notches on the iPhone 13 models. So definitely that kind of gives it an older look right there. But on the whole, I think build and body, durability, all this stuff, pretty good. If you're buying one of these used, just make sure it's not all dinged up, scratched up. These edges can get very scratched if the person is reckless with the phone. The back can also get scratched. It can be a little bit hard to see on the gold colorway, but on some of those other colors, you'll be able to see it. And I will say that the screen scratches very easily, so do check the conditions if you are buying one of these. Now, moving on to the display here, 5.8-inch display. We went up to 6.1 inches in most all the new displays out here, so most of the newer iPhones are going to have 6.1. But is the 5.8-inch enough? I don't know what's up with this iPhone. It's really dragging its feet today. But these, I would say it's definitely enough here. It's going to be enough for most people. You barely notice it unless you put it side by side with a 6.1. Now, it is smaller than, the Max phones and stuff like that. And there's a lot of larger phones you can get for this price range. So you're not going to get the best display out here in terms of size. But it's still plenty bright. Gets around 800 nits. It's still OLED. So everything about this is still premium. And because things like phones like this is why people always say like Apple hasn't advanced that much and say things like this. And yes, their brightness has gotten better, and displays have gotten better, bezels have gotten thinner. But overall, they really have had a pretty similar experience dating all the way back to 2019 with this iPhone 11 Pro. This is why this is one of my favorite editions ever. Had a brighter display, a new build and look. Yeah, similar to the 10, but there was a lot of nice changes here. Revolutionary changes to the camera, brighter displays. It just still had that really good feeling of a 5.8-inch size. I really loved this model. It was excellent overall. Yeah, but so you're not really going to be missing out too much on display. You are getting 60 hertz, but Apple's still using 60 hertz on iPhone 14 and 14 Plus models. So I really can't knock it for that either. Now, in terms of software, you do get the latest updates as well. You get 16.3, you get 16.2, you get all these latest updates. You're not going to be behind here at all with software. So you really, like I've said before, all you're really going to do is miss out on one thing, and that's going to be your camera experience is not going to be quite the same as some of the other newer phones in terms of software. There's going to be a few added features, a few raw modes, a few, action modes, little icons and stuff, a little bit differences there. But overall, that's about it. There's not really any other change. You can still add widgets here on this phone for easily. So do keep that in mind. And this one is running a little bit slow for some reason today, but you can definitely add everything you want on here on board, and you'll be able to have the app library on here, all the same stuff somebody who just bought a brand new iPhone would be experiencing. So no major change there. Now performance, I would say it's pretty darn good. I don't know why, but for some reason this iPhone is performing a little slow. But overall, you see right there, little chop. Overall, this phone is actually still pretty fast. I don't know why this one is acting up right now. Maybe I'm downloading some apps on the side. Could be the reason. But overall, this phone still, it hums along. It gets through the day. You'll be able to use this easily at $300. No, it's not as fast as the SE at that price point because it has an A15 Bionic. So if you're looking for the just pure performance, that phone will have it. But this will definitely hum along, and it will definitely be able to go throughout the day with no major issues. You'll be able to play most games on the market. I will say it does warm up a little bit more than it used to, especially when you're running games and stuff like that. So you'll feel it on here. 4 gigs of RAM is not the highest either anymore. Even the base models now have 6 gigs. So there might be a stutter here and there if you're opening too many applications at once. But how many applications are you opening at once? On the whole, iPhones hold their value long term in terms of performance, so this one is no different whatsoever. Now, moving on to the camera, I've raved about this camera probably a million times on this channel already, but I can tell you it really hasn't downgraded too much. Cameras have just gotten better on phones, but I really do like how this one doesn't do a lot of post-processing. It doesn't over sharpen things like the newer iPhones. It just looks really good. They're just really simple photos. There's no major blurring in the background. A lot of people like that bokeh, but it's not for everybody. This is just a really great point and shoot camera. A lot of people, actually might prefer some of the photos that came out of the older edition iPhone just because the newer ones are really sharpening things up and showing some details you might not want to see with their post-processing. So definitely I really do prefer some of the images that come out of this phone. Also, the video quality is still darn good. I bet you I can make a video with this in 4K 60. You guys probably wouldn't even know that I'm shooting this on an iPhone. Like, you wouldn't even say anything. You would just be like talking about the video content because it's good enough on this phone. And then when you go to the front, I always raved about this, and to this day, it's still a pretty cool touch that you have 4K 60 on the front. And one thing I like about the iPhones is they're not too close to your face. So they're really good vlogging phones as well. If you want to do some vlogs on the front and then you want to flip it around, these are good in this aspect as well. And look, it's not even that close. Like, you can punch in if you want, but these phones are not super close to the face. I like that. It's really good to get people in the shot as well. So I always raved about it before, and I'll say it again. These iPhones are some of the best phones to take selfies with groups and stuff and people like that. So definitely really good in that area. Also, this one always had really good audio performance from these downward speakers as well as the one up here. Just pretty solid audio performance as well on this phone. Now, you will give up something pretty crucial here in that you won't have the best signal strength. Apple really went to town fixing their signal strength, 5G and stuff like that on more current iPhones. So this could be a deal breaker for you right here. This does have Bluetooth 5.0. They also went to Bluetooth 5.2. So even connections, most people aren't going to notice the speed of connecting things, but the newer ones are slightly faster. They have faster Wi-Fi performance as well. So overall, just connectivity stuff, this is a little bit behind here at this point. And then I just have to talk about battery life. Can you get through a day on this phone? The answer is, if the battery health is not too low, this one's at 84. If it's not too low, like under 83, you should be able to make it through a day easily. If it's fully, at 100%, this is going to be easily making it through a day. So yes, this phone can still make it through an entire usage throughout your day. Now, if you're using GPS, you're using camera, just like any phone, this thing's going to drain down very fast. Gaming is going to really blow through it. So do keep that in mind. But there's not really much to complain about with this phone. It just kind of works. Face ID is solid, better than it was on the iPhone 10. Everything about it, it just screams, I'm still a good iPhone. That's what it screams to you. Yeah, new ones came out, but I still work, buddy. You can see right there. This thing does come in, space gray, silver, this gold right here, and a midnight green colorway. So you have multiple color options, and you can get this with all the way up to 512 gigabytes. So do keep that in mind. There is plenty of storage space available. That's it for me. Should you buy it? We kind of covered everything and kind of how it performs now. It just seems like everything is still good on the iPhone 11 Pro, which just shows that, I think innovation has maybe stalled a little bit. I'm not going to knock Apple and say that their new phones are trash or something. They're not. They're great. They've improved this phone in every single way. A better camera on the 14 Pro. It has a better build. Overall just feels a little bit higher end for sure. Faster screen, faster speed, faster battery life. It's just, this phone was so good. These performance improvements, all these improvements, they're just kind of expected. They're not groundbreakingly different. It's not like when you went from an iPhone 6 to a 10. It's kind of like you're going from 11 Pro to 11 Pro Plus Plus. So essentially, it's a couple things here and there better. It's an improved modern experience, but this still feels very usable. So yes, if you can find this on a deal, somebody's handing off to you, this is an excellent backup phone or an excellent phone to use if this is just not in your budget and you want to play around with iOS and iPhone. So that's my take on the iPhone 11 Pro here in 2023, beginning of 2023. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know if you want to see iOS 17 release video on this phone later this year. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.